Welcome, folks. This is the very first episode of the Rural American Surgeon Podcast. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, since probably my first or second year of residency 8 or 9 years ago. I'm passionate about rural surgery because I grew up on a farm in Northwest Indiana, and it's been in my blood since I was a little kid, running around, listening to my parents travel over the countryside singing songs about our heartland, such as The Great American Farmer and This Land Is Your Land, watching a slideshow in the early 1990s with pictures of waving fields of grain and American flags and red and green tractors. So I think I was fed a large amount of propaganda when I was a child that has really shaped my background and upbringing. But I truly do believe that rural America is a very special place with very special people with values that still need to be preserved. And rural surgery practice has a lot to offer as well. So my goal for this podcast is that every episode I'll interview a guest really that I want to talk to. These are leaders in the forefront of rural surgery. They're colleagues of mine that I've came in contact with in our national meetups. They might have been someone that helped me along the way through my training. And most importantly, they all care and have a special passion for rural surgery, as do I. There may be people listening to this show that are not rural general surgeons. You may or may not find this segment interesting, but I want to dive very deeply into the exact minute details of how my guest does one case every week. I think this will be useful for new surgeons in practice. It'll also be useful for residents. And most importantly, it's just fun to hear that there's not just one way to do things. And we can talk about the pros and cons, and maybe you'll find something for your practice. You'll also get a mindset into when we're at our best as general surgeons, what are the good things that motivate us and keep us going so that we can all avoid that stuck feeling. And I won't use the buzzword that everyone's talking about, but that feeling where what you're doing is not really getting you anywhere and it's not really what you want to be doing anymore. I think that professional isolation is a big problem in rural practice, not just surgery, but others. And I hope to fight that by building a community with this podcast. As I start the show, it's basically a show where my audience is myself. I'm getting the questions answered that I want to talk about, and we'll see where it goes from there. I also have an interest in personal finance, and I feel like financial independence is an important process that it's good for everyone to go through, to learn the concepts of frugality and also of charity. And I think that those things help to eliminate money as a motivator, and it helps us to get back to our altruistic roots. The podcast is definitely not going to be dominated by that. It's mostly going to be the nuts and bolts of rural general surgery practice. But I will have a financial corner where I'll ask my guests if you have any particular tips or even a money mistake that you made, that is, say you were talking to a medical student, a resident, or a young attending, that you would want to share to help them have success and not need to focus on money so much in their lives, as they have so many other much more important things to worry about. I'm really glad you're here. I hope that you enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about me. If you have something that you'd like to talk about, please don't hesitate to interact with us on the show. Reach out to me, and we'll try to chase down what interests you. Hope you have a great day.